All right. Hey, y'all, and welcome to LumberJillville. We are going to do a live news broadcast, kind of up out of the blue. There's a lot to talk about. I've been house sitting, as the cat scratches the bed. I've been house sitting, the last week or so. So I'm just back in the LumberJillville headquarters, and there is a lot of news to go over that I'm real excited to go over with all of y'all. So let's give it a couple minutes, wait for folks to enter, and then we'll cover the news for the last couple weeks, really. There's been a lot going on with women's wrestling news, women's wrestling figure news. There's some updates that just happened today that we're going to cover, and I'm real excited about that. So let's make sure to get things rolling here. So what we're doing is, am I live? Okay, there we go. We got some people here. Welcome to LumberJillville News Live. We are doing it live. I know I asked a little bit ago if you guys liked it live or liked it pre-recorded, and I think y'all liked it live. So we're going to do a little live news broadcast here, and we're going to get started right away. So welcome. It's supposed to storm, so that's why I'm doing it now. I was going to do it a little later, but I want to do it before it storms. And let's see. All right, let's just get started. So there's a lot of women's wrestling news here to cover. Here's this week's thumbnail, June 13th, 2025. So the first thing we're going to talk about, which is a big deal, Evolution 2. Okay, we're also going to talk about the big rubber guy Shotzi, show some images, the new Liv Elite images that were shown today. Rhea Ripley's Elite is going to be in WWE 2K. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Powertown. So we're going to go kind of around here. I got a surprise to tell y'all about. And we're going to talk about the good and the bad about Evolution. So Evolution 2 is happening. Finally, there were rumors going on for a while that Evolution 2 was going to be happening, right? And it is officially happening, and it's happening in Atlanta on July 13th. Now, why is that good and why is that bad? Okay, let me tell you something. I live an hour and a half from Atlanta, which would be a good thing, but here's the problem. The show is at 6:30 at night. I have work the next morning at 5 in the morning. There's also a Beyonce concert right next door to where Evolution is being held. Evolution is being held at the State Farm Arena where the Atlanta Hawks play basketball. And right next door is the Beyonce concert at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I was going back and forth because I wanted to go so bad. I wanted to go. But being an adult, having to make decisions, sometimes tough decisions, I realized that it just wasn't the best option for me to go. And instead, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a watch along with all of y'all right here in LumberJillville. I'm not going to be able to show the footage, but maybe I'll do giveaways, do a chat, do something like that for Evolution. I think that would be more fun, and I'd love to get y'all involved rather than me just going and telling y'all about it after. So that's the plan for Evolution, but this is a big deal for women. Big deal for the women's division in WWE, especially because it's been so many years since the last Evolution pay-per-view. And I honestly think they created that when Ronda Rousey joined the company, and they were really pumping up the women's division, really building the excitement. And it's excitement that they haven't been building on since Ronda left the company, in my opinion. I think NXT is still the place for women's wrestling where they get equal opportunity. They got a lot of TV time, a lot of training. And I honestly think that NXT is kind of where it's at as far as women's wrestling goes in the development and the future of the women's division. What is up, Alec? So yeah, Evolution 2 is a big deal. This was announced a couple weeks ago, but I haven't been home in a while. So unfortunately, Mayor Aaron, I will not be able to go. I won't be able to go to Evolution. And good evening, Rodney. And that's disappointing. But like I said, I plan on doing a watch-along party right here in LumberJillville. I'll put a different backdrop here. We'll do giveaways. We'll talk about the matches, and we'll have a lot of fun. So I'm really excited for that. So let's move on to the next slide here. Okay. So yeah, also Saturday night's main event is Saturday, July 12th in Atlanta. Once again, an hour and a half from me. And as you can see, Sunday, I guess it's 7 p.m. I said 6:30, but 7 p.m. So it would be a late night. It's just not feasible. Being an adult and having to get up early for work, and me really caring a lot about my job, which is a new job. I care a lot about it. I want to make sure I'm plenty rested. So I will not be able to attend Evolution, but I'll be right here with all of y'all. However, what I will be attending is the NXT Great American Bash in Atlanta. What's up, Christian? Good to see you. So yes, I will be attending the Great American Bash. Now, I have wanted to go to an NXT show for years, and they've just never really came to my area. Most of their locations, hey, Angel, are down in Florida, but they're going to be in Atlanta, and I'm going with my mom, my partner in crime, my best friend in the world, my mom. She had back surgery about a year ago. She couldn't even walk for a while, but now she's doing great. She's been watching a lot of wrestling with me, and she said she would go with me. So I'm super excited to be attending the Great American Bash. I'll make sure to document it, post pictures, post videos on YouTube, and, have y'all experience the Great American Bash with Mayor Aaron as he goes. Maybe I'll sneak Mayor Alexa into the theater, because it is kind of a theater where the Great American Bash is happening. So I do have official tickets to the Great American Bash, and I'm going with my mom. So I'm super, super excited for that. But obviously, Evolution is really the big news here. Now, I'm hoping there are some good women's matches on the Great American Bash. I'm nervous because we have Evolution the next day. I hope they don't save all the women's matches for that. But either way, I'll be excited to go to NXT. It's going to be really, really cool. And we'll see what takes place there. All right, so let's talk about, here comes Luke, cameo from Luke. Let's talk about CollectMajor.com, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, and Mark Sterling. They have a big rubber guy line of figures. They announced a Missy Hyatt a while back. I pre-ordered 2 of those. I'm really excited for that. Missy's never had a figure. She was a big part of the behind-the-scenes action in WCW. And I should be getting that figure soon to review. But here we have the first actual women's wrestler included in the Big Rubber Guidelines. Big Rubber Guys line, and it looks awesome. This Shotzi looks great. It has a removable helmet, so yes, that helmet is removable, but the pre-order's up right now at collectmajor.com, so make sure to head on over there if you are interested in this figure. Now, I can say that the Major Bendies are really cool. I reviewed the Maki Ito on my channel, was blown away, thought the quality was great, the uniqueness was cool, the packaging was cool, and I'm holding off giving my singing praise to the Big Rubber Guy line because I just haven't reviewed any yet. So I haven't really gotten to review them and show all of y'all and talk about whether I think the price is fair, if the figures are worth it. Now, I did get a glowing review of the Major Bendies, but once I get that Missy Hyatt in hand, I'll have a better idea, and I'll probably pop back on here in a new segment or even tell you in the Missy review, like, yes, this is definitely worth the price. Great product, or it's a little higher price than it should be. So we'll see. But this Shotzi looks amazing. I love the pose. I love the detail here, and it looks freaking awesome. All right, so there were new images released today at the time of this recording, Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, everybody, of the Liv Morgan Elite. Now, this has caused, I've seen a lot of backlash over this Liv Morgan figure. Now, I will say first and foremost, there's no excuse why it's taken so long to get another Liv Morgan Elite. Yeah, we've had a lot of main event or basic style Liv Morgan figures released through the last couple of years, but she hasn't had an Elite in a while. And that Elite was super lackluster. The Money in the Bank Elite was super lackluster. I thought the likeness was terrible. It didn't look like her. It looked like Amber Heard. And she's had a lot of different face scans, face sculpts. And for this one, there's a lot of people upset about it. And we'll get to that on the next slide. But let's just show some images here. I love this figure. I think it looks great. Liv Morgan is one of the 4 pillars of LumberJillville. Liv, Alexa, Sasha, and Rhea They are what holds LumberJillville together. So anytime a new figure is released of any of them, I am stoked. And this Liv looks pretty darn cool. Now, someone did post, isn't this just a repainted Roxanne Perez? Kind of, I'm not sure. I'll wait to compare them side by side and look at the body part choices. The midsection and also the chest looks about to be the same, so I'll have to see when I have it in hand. Also, the bottoms, maybe the legs, but the boots are different. The boots have very unique sculpting. There's also a uniquely sculpted piece that goes around the waist that looks cool. And obviously, what makes it really different than the Roxanne is obviously the Dirty Dom shirt, the glove, all the little deco hits that they put in this figure that looks really, really cool. So I think it looks great. I'm really excited. As you can see from all different angles, I love how long that blonde hair is. And I love that she comes with the WWE World Women's Championship, that we previously were able to get in the Ultimate Edition Rhea Ripley, but it's cool that we're getting it in the Elite line. So yeah, Rodney says the face scan looks off, but let's talk about that. So this face sculpt and face scan appears to be the same sculpt and scan that they used on the Elite 69. And then over here, the Basic Series 110. Now, this Basic 110 head sculpt, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. And I thought it did a great job of replicating her likeness. I mean, I honestly think that Elite 69 is a top 10 women's wrestling figure of all time. And this Basic 110 is honestly a top 10 basic or main event style Liv Morgan, in my opinion. So I think it's cool that they are reusing the sculpt because it works so good. However, if you look at the scan on the one on the left, I feel like the scan isn't printed on properly. And I think what really throws this figure off is the hair. So Mattel struggles or has struggled in the past with the hair on the women's figures. Not necessarily the sculpt, but the coloration of it. It shouldn't be just one color, and I hate when they do that. They showed that they can do an excellent job with highlights, with dark roots. They've done a good job on some Chelsea figures and the Kairi Sane figure. They've shown that they can do that. And I think Jazzverse has really taken over as being the best at replicating the coloration of the hair. And I think that would have really made this Liv on the left look a lot better if they gave her darker roots or maybe a more dirty blonde type color, not just this one shade of yellow, which is what we're getting. It's like they went backwards. And that's the frustrating thing about Mattel. I feel like Jazzwares is taking one step forward at a time with their women's wrestling figures, and Mattel takes one step forward, two steps back, one step forward, two steps back. And I feel like this Liv head might be two steps back, not because the scan and sculpt is terrible, but I think proportion-wise, it just doesn't look right with the hair sculpt that they used. And I feel like that hair sculpt should not be shaped like that. Now, I did come across images where it looks like her hair is kind of flipped up in the front, like what they were going with. But I honestly think if they would have added some deco or detail to the hair and given her darker roots or a different shade of blonde, maybe some streaks in there, it would have looked a lot better. Yeah, she's seen some things. She has seen some things. She saw her last Elite and how bad it looked. Now, okay. Yeah, so I think the face shape does look a little off, and I think it's the proportion, and I'll wait to have it next to this Basic 110 and the Elite 69. I will do a side-by-side comparison when I review this Liv, and I'm real anxious to do that because, shoot, I love the sculpt and scan on the right. I absolutely loved it, but I think the shape of it doesn't really go with that hair sculpt too well, and it begs the question, why the frick have we not gotten a super good updated Liv Morgan face sculpt and scan? She is one of the best superstars on the roster as far as engagement, as far as popularity, as far as talent, in my opinion. So it's interesting that they go back to a sculpt and scan that is years old. I'm talking like 5+ years old. And I get why they might do that, because that last Elite, that sculpt and scan was terrible. So, oh, there's Luke. Oh, my goodness. So I'm sure they don't want to go back to that. But it's just interesting to me. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on this, but I'm just going to wait until I have the figure in hand. I did order multiple of them, so I will review the best face scan on the sculpt, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's real interesting to me that they appear to have used a previous sculpt, but the shape of it looks a lot different. And I think it's because of that hair sculpt. So I'm not a fan of the hair sculpt. The one shade of blonde or one shade of yellow on the hair, not a fan of. But we'll wait until I have it in hand and see how it looks, honestly. Okay. Yeah, so you liked the Money in the Bank Liv. I'm going to be honest. I did not like that Money in the Bank Liv Morgan whatsoever. I thought they dropped the ball big time on her likeness and the face scan and sculpt. It looked terrible in my opinion, but the rest of the figure was neat. You know, I will say that. But it's become really expensive too. If you have that Money in the Bank Liv Morgan, if you look on eBay, it's gone up in price. But yeah, so we'll wait to see until we have it in hand. I'm just glad Liv's getting a new Elite. I'm glad she comes with the title there, and I love the attire. I really do. So I'll wait to have it in hand, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, so Mattel announced. Oh, there's thunder in the background. Oh, here comes the storm. There goes my cat. Luke's scared of storms. It's okay, buddy. So it was announced in WWE 2K, you know, they've had figure skins to where you can put them on the Superstar, and then they look like the action figure. And we have Elite 110 Rhea Ripley, and that's pretty darn cool. I think that's kind of neat in 2K25. And then we also have a Roman Reigns Elite. Now that could be any Roman Reigns Elite because Roman's had so many Elites that look the exact same, but this on the left, this is Elite 110 Rhea Ripley. So that's pretty freaking cool. Moving on, Mercedes Moné. Let's talk about this AEW Shop AEW Mercedes Moné 1 of 3,000 figure that has been up for pre-order almost 2 months. Okay, it's almost been up for 2 months. It just sold out today at the time of this recording. I know this for a fact, and we'll get to that why. So she posted images holding the figure, and I'm telling y'all, this figure, maybe it's because I'm such a huge fan of Sasha or Mercedes. She's my favorite wrestler of all time. She is. I mean, I think she's the GOAT. And this figure looks so amazing. It's no secret how much and how highly I think of Jazzwares and AEW with their women's wrestling figures over the last year and a half. And this one looks like it might be the best women's wrestling figure of all time. Now, I digress. I know I'm getting way ahead of myself. I honestly think the best women's wrestling figure of all time is this Kairi Sane that I have next to my computer. It's unbelievable. But I think this Mercedes might top it. And yeah, there's images of her holding it. So that would be great if it came out. I think it's supposed to come out in like September or so, but hopefully it comes a little sooner. So let's talk about this. So when I woke up this morning and I was preparing notes and preparing images and preparing this slideshow for today's news, there were 7 left of that Mercedes. 7 left. And I was wondering, I was like, I'm going to see if it's sold out yet because I thought this was going to sell out within minutes. Honestly, I thought it was going to sell out within minutes. I ordered a few of them and I ordered them as quick as I could. I was having bad connection and I was freaking out because it looked so amazing. I had to have multiple of this figure and I got it. No problem. Time has passed, y'all. The pre-orders started on April 25th. April 25th. That was almost 2 months ago. It just sold out today. When I woke up, there were 7 left of this Mercedes, and I checked a couple hours ago, and it was sold out, unavailable. So it is gone. It is gone. So hopefully, if you wanted this figure, you were able to pre-order it. I really hope that. Thank goodness it didn't seem like scalpers bought 800 of these things and really limited the quantity for everybody. But yeah. It's sold out now, so the only way to get this figure will be the secondary market. Sometimes they repost these things if orders get canceled, so we'll have to wait and see on that. But either way, this figure looks amazing. This is the most anticipated figure for me coming up. This and the Wendy Chu main event figures. I mean, I am so excited. But yeah, this one looks like unbelievable. So yeah, if you missed the pre-order, you're going to have to get it on the secondary market. But yeah, it did just sell out today, which is wild. Like, why did it take a month and a half, almost 2 months for this figure to sell out? Let's talk about that for a minute before I move on. So I honestly think, and I've said before, and I keep saying it, the AEW women's figures over the last year and a half have been top notch. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I review all these women's wrestling figures. The AEW ones have impressed me the most. However, I will admit that the hype and the excitement and the overall, I don't know, the overall joy that collectors have with the AEW line has really gone down. And I think there's a couple reasons why. I think a big reason is, They announced a couple years ago that they were going to have one set a month, unrivaled this month, unmatched the next, unrivaled the next, unmatched the next. And that would have been great to cycle in new figures all the time. They didn't do that. Jazzwares really seems to put the AEW figure line on the back burner. Now, the designers of the AEW figures, especially the women's figures, are working way above their pay grade. They deserve raises. They have put so much love and attention and care into the AEW women's figures that I want to see more. And it's frustrating because they're coming out at a snail's pace. I mean, when was the last time I reviewed a mainline AEW figure? A couple months, 2 months, 3 months? And that was the regular Willow. I did review the Chase or the rare Willow at a 3,000. But the mainline AEW figures, they just don't come out as much. On Ringside Collectibles at the time of this recording, there are no future lines up for pre-order. And that sucks because even when they're posted for pre-order, usually it takes a couple months for them to get in. And I believe the next line was supposed to have Mariah May in it. Mariah May is now in NXT. I should have put that in this news show. I really should have put that in here. So I don't know what's going on there. All I know is I kind of wish that AEW would... I don't want to say move their license to a different company. I don't want to say that because Jazzwares has done such an excellent job, but they really need to push the priority of these figures because they can be great. And the problem is when they have a new set come out every 3 months, 4 months, the excitement really goes down. And we'll talk about a line that has done that has really killed the excitement of the line, even though the quality is apparently good. So I think they need to really up the amount of lines coming out and build that excitement again. Because if you go to your stores, I mean, if I go to my Walmarts or Targets, I can find AEW figures that are 4 years old now. I mean, it's crazy. And I know Jeremy Padawer came out a couple years ago and said that we're doing a refresh. They're going to get all those AEW figures off the shelf and put new ones out there. That didn't happen at all. I mean, especially in my area. So you have to let me know if they actually did that reset in your area. But that's the problem also is, Jeremy Padawer, he's done a lot for the wrestling figure community, but I don't know, something about him seems a little too political one way or another. And I feel like he says a lot of what people want to hear, but doesn't say a lot of the truth and what's actually going to happen or things that are being said. And you can pull up some old tweets of his from years ago if you don't believe me. So, yeah, I think they need a different frontman, different spokesperson that actually prioritizes the AEW line, has love and passion for the line, because I have a lot of love and passion for the AEW women's figures. I do. And I wish they had some of that same love and passion for the figures that could really push them and promote them on social media and talk about them and really show how much they are valued. Okay. I actually just saw Sky Blue in the store. I didn't pick it up because I have one open, and I did have one MOC, but I opened it up for Fig Photography. So I think I still have that one. So I do have a couple Sky Blues, and it's an excellent figure. Okay, upper extremity. See, I'm an athletic trainer, so UE means upper extremity in my world. So Ultimate Edition Bayley. Ultimate Edition Bayley is supposed to be shipping here. Looks like early August. So I assume by late July, late next month, the Bayley will be shipping. And I'm super excited for that Ultimate Edition Bayley. All right, let's hide that. Let's move on. All right, so let's talk about this. In my review, I said that I didn't know which Nia was the chase and which was the standard. And there are some simple things that I overlooked that people pointed out, and I was kicking myself. Now, here's the thing. The package, the box, has her in the white attire. That was the tall tale sign that was the standard edition. So yes, the white is the standard, the red is the chase. Now, if you'll have to watch my review because it's very, 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 very confusing if I try to explain it here. But basically, I ordered 2 of the chases at the higher price point and 1 standard. Ringside sent me 2 of the whites and 1 of the reds. So I thought, oh, the white must be the chase. But then I got online and it showed that the red was the chase and the white was the standard. So I reached out to Ringside Collectibles customer service and said, hey, I ordered 2 chases. I got 2 of the whites. But they said, well, you ordered 2 of the whites, so that's what we sent. And I said, okay, well, I paid the chase price, and I don't want a standard figure MOC of this Nia. I collect some MOC figures. I like to have the chases MOC, minimum card. And they refunded me the difference, so like $9, which, I mean, I'm glad that they did that. Ringside customer service is actually really, really good. They've been great with me. So shout out to them on that. But it was a very confusing thing. And I don't know whose fault it was, but basically when they first posted this Nia Jax Elite, they had it backwards and screwed up. So yeah, if you're looking for the chase, it is in the red. If you're looking for the standard, it is the white. All right, let's talk about this Powertown, air quotes, update. So what is going on with Powertown? So the last update we got, which as you can see is March 5th, 2025. In April, we were supposed to get the TNA figures, which, by the way, the TNA figures are also known as the Jordan Grace in LumberJillville women's wrestling world. Okay. And the Ultra Series 2 is a Medusa in the women's wrestling figure world. And those two figures both look awesome. I ordered 2 of each, one to keep men on card and one to open. I really bought into the hype when they went up for pre-order a year ago. I really did. And unfortunately, there's been no updates. They've been completely radio silent. We talked about this before. It might have been my first news segment. You know, Kyle Peterson does a great job covering it. He kind of gets a lot of I don't want to say backlash because I don't think anyone's really in the right mind to defend Powertown for how they've handled their line. But, you know, he's been very talked about the controversial about it being, you know, a controversial thing, I guess. But either way, it's very frustrating because, yeah, where are the figures? And on top of that, it'd be one thing if you could just reach out to Powertown customer service and cancel the pre-order. But the problem that people are having is them not responding. And that's very frustrating. Like I sunk in $200, maybe a little more to get 2 Medusas and 2 Jordan Graces. And unfortunately, you know, that's $200 that is gone. It was basically like a deposit. It was like an IOU. It's like when you let someone borrow money and you don't know if you're ever going to get it back. You know, I'm sure we will get the figures. Actually, I don't know if we will. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. But this company is becoming a joke, in my opinion. And even if this Jordan Grace and this Medusa show up and they are the best women's wrestling figures of all time and they are just glorious and they are way past the price point as far as if they're worth it. And they are just the best things that I have ever reviewed. I can honestly say that they still are not worth this handling of the situation. You know, I like to review women's wrestling figures in LumberJillville, but I like to review them a lot. I like to review a lot of women's figures. I don't like pre-ordering a women's figure and then waiting a year and a half, 2 years to review it. You know, I had a big issue with the very first boss fight, the standard line. I forget, Fanaticos maybe. Taya Valkyrie. I mean, that took forever. And when it got to me, I was blown away by the quality, but I was still a little, you know, rubbed the wrong way by the wait time. Now they've since cleaned things up and, you know, they're pretty present in the social media community with posting updates. Powertown is not. I don't know what old out of touch guys they have running their company. Magnum TA, come on now. They need to get some people in there that know how to communicate with the public, that know how to promote the product, keep people updated. They need a dedicated customer support team that can refund to people. And yeah, it's just, it's a shame. Like I've gone back and forth whether I want to cancel my orders and I haven't because I want to stick this out. I want to review the figures because I'm going to be brutally honest. Now, if these are the best women's wrestling figures of all time, I'll say it in my review. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm going to be completely honest. So no, Powertown is not an old company. The folks that run Powertown seem to be very old individuals, you know, Gagne, Magnum TA, I mean, the list goes on. I don't know. I feel like if they had some youthfulness in that company, then they'd be like, hey guys, we need to update the public. We need to update our updates list. It hasn't been updated since freaking March. Like we need to let people know what's going on. Even if these figures aren't going to come out for another year, they need to come out and say that, hey, here's the deal, everybody. Figures aren't coming out for another year. We are so sorry. We didn't know this was going to happen. You can get a refund. So no, yeah, the company's not old. The pre-orders or the people running the company are old. And by the time we get these figures, this company is going to be old. Let's just be honest here. So yeah, I'm kind of over the whole Powertown thing. And that's that. So that's what we got for today's news. And yeah, as I mentioned, I will not be able to attend Evolution, but I plan on doing a watch along live stream party. I did that with Halloween Havoc a few years ago, and I want to do that again with Evolution and watch it with all of y'all. So if y'all don't have plans for Evolution, jump on here. Let's get a live chat going. I'll do giveaways. We'll have some fun. We'll talk about the matches. And yeah, we can just have a good time together. So I'm really excited to do that. And as I mentioned, I will be attending the Great American Bash. So super, super cool. So yeah. And actually, someone talked about in the chat the Iconics Elites. Yeah, that's funny you say that, Rodney. I actually have it in the background. I might go grab it. You might be able to see it. I don't know. Can you see it from where I'm sitting? I actually just found a Billy Kay MOC Elite at a like gaming store at the mall, and I scooped that baby up. Scoop that baby up. I'd love to have a Peyton MOC, but you know, I have them both loose, but that Billy Kay MOC is pretty cool, and I might actually unbox it because the Billy Kay that I already have unboxed has really loose ankles. Maybe I'll do a classic review, and even though I've reviewed those Elites, maybe I'll review it again, an updated review. All right. Evolution. Oops. Evolution. Let's talk about that. Evolution is Sunday, July 13th at 7 p.m. So, like I said, it's only an hour and a half away from me, away from LumberJillville, but I won't be able to make it, y'all. It's going to be crazy busy, crazy traffic. There's a Beyonce concert next door. I have work early in the morning the next day, and unfortunately, I won't be able to attend, but I'll be right here with all of y'all doing a watch along, watching it, and I'm super, super excited for that. Yeah, there's like a independently owned mom and pop. It used to be like a video game store, but I just went there and they seem to focus to cards, which a lot of gaming stores are. Like I think GameStop is kind of shifting their focus to cards, like Magic cards, Pokemon cards, and whatnot. But they had some figures in the back, and they actually had the Billy Kay Elite for like $30. So I scooped that up. I scooped that baby up. Now, as of now, I don't think there's really any women's wrestling figures, new ones, that are going to be in LumberJillville. So, you know, I'll be creative here. We'll do a classic review Monday. The Lola Vice, okay. I don't know. I don't know when Lola's coming out. The pre-order's not up yet. And I think it's not for a couple Elite series. I could be wrong. I think it's like Elite 121. Maybe it's 120. I'm not sure, but I'm excited for that Lola. So, you know, for all of y'all that joined me on this impromptu news live stream, who do you want to see me do a classic review of for Monday? Now, I have some options here. I have Mandy Rose's very first figure mint on card. I'd love to open it up and review it. I have a good story about that. I also have this Billy Kay Elite mint on card. I could go over the packaging and review that figure as well. What else? I have a bunch of classic figures that I want to review. So I guess it's really down to that Mandy or the Billy. Who do y'all want to see me review on Monday night? And I know it's been a while since we've done a Monday Night Classic review. I kind of played off of that on this past Monday with the new Alundra main event figure. But yeah, basically, it's been busy. I've been out of town, you know, not spending much time at my house. Anytime I've been at my house is to film the intros and film the reviews for the channel. So I should be home now here for a little bit. So I think tomorrow I'll definitely film a Monday Night Classic review, and I'll post it on Monday, so I'm excited for that. I also need to do a collection update. I might do a card collection video, like a separate video. I have some really cool cards in my case in front of me. So we got one Sane Billy and one Sane Mandy. Here's the thing. If, let's say I review Mandy on Monday, maybe I'll do Billy the next week. Oh, there's also a Mickie James, the Mickie James first figure. I guess it's a basic figure, right? Yeah, Mickie James' first figure. So let me type a comment here. Mickie Mandy basic or Mickey basic, Mandy basic, or Billy Elite from Monday's Classic Groove. Mickey's basic will be the first basic figure, female basic figure by Mattel, unless you count the battle pack Beth Phoenix with Santino. And then we have Mandy's basic, which is her first figure. Then we got Billy Kay's Elite, which is actually not her first figure, interesting enough. That battle pack, the Iconics battle pack, was one of the first figures I got for LumberJillville. I have images to prove that. So, yeah, I could do a poll. Maybe I'll post a poll tonight. And then I can film it tomorrow. That's a good idea. Yeah, the battle pack's kind of neat. Those figures, like the battle pack, I'd love to get that men on card because the battle pack was one of the first figures that I got that my daughter loved too, that we kind of bonded over. I mean, so is that Mandy though, so I kind of want to talk about that Monday. So we'll see. If I don't post a poll, then look for the Mandy figure because I have a story I'd like to share about that. But anyway, so yeah, that's today's news. I kept it kind of short. Usually these news segments are long, but I just wanted to talk about the main things, you know, being Evolution especially, and also the Great American Bash and NXT. Hopefully there are women's matches on that card because I will be going. Hopefully they don't save all the women's matches for Evolution. So, yeah. Anyone have any questions or answers? Or wait, no. What am I talking about? Anyone have any questions for me or want to see anything from the slideshow or discuss anything before I get rolling here? I mean, it's good to see everyone in here in the live chat. Yeah, we do need a Thea Hale Elite. I want to see an Izzy Dame figure really bad. I think Izzy Dame's awesome. I want to see an Izzy Dame figure. I actually think Izzy Dame, and I've said it before, Izzy Dame and Kiana James are the future of WWE women's wrestling. And I stand by that statement, and Lash. Ooh, yeah, I think Lash. Why does Lash not have a figure? What the heck? Yeah, I don't know why I skipped over that. I think Lash Legend is also the future of the company, and I don't know why she doesn't have a figure yet. But hey, yeah, I want more NXT figures too. I wish they'd bring back the NXT Elite line because it should be split 50-50 with men and women in the line, and that'd be awesome. Anyone have any questions or want to see anything before I head off? Get a little workout in, a little late night, not really late, but get a little nighttime workout. Let me know. I have been waking up at 5 a.m. for work, so I'm a little sluggish. I apologize, but I'm really happy to be here with all y'all. And doesn't look like we have any more questions or comments or concerns or anything. So I think what I'll do is I'll end the stream, but I'll keep it up. Y'all are oh, look at this. Oh man, they just added this thing where comments can pop up on the screen. So that's new. I'm learning here. Yeah, I miss Dakota. Indy's cool too. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to head off. I might post a poll on what figure I will review next for the classic figure review. But either way, I appreciate everyone that has joined in today. And thanks for watching. I love y'all. Have a great night, y'all.